Hi everyone, it's Jonna with Purple Girl Crafts. Today I'm going to show you this cute Halloween card that I made. Now I haven't put a sentiment on the front because I want to leave that blank. When you open up the card, as you can see, it's got 3 pop-up panels. 2 of them are going to the right and 1's going to the left. And it's just being held up with some pillars. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started on making this card. So the first thing we're going to need is your base piece, and I'm going to be using my standard 5x7 card, completed card. So the first piece we're going to need is a piece of base cut out 10 by 7. And then on the 10-inch side, we're going to score it at 5 inches. And then we'll fold it in half and we'll crease it, but we'll do that in a minute. So the next piece we're going to need the inside of the card. This is the mechanism. So this piece is going to be cut at 11 by 6 3/4. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to score this. So I'm going to flip the paper over just to make it easier to see. And we're going to score on the 11-inch side. We're going to start by scoring at the 4 3/4 inch mark. Then we're going to score at 5 1/2. And 6 1/4. And this is what you should have. You should have just your 3 score marks on the paper. Now we're going to glue these 2 sections together. But we'll do that in a minute. Next, we're going to need 3 pieces that are 3-inch by 1 inch. And we're going to score these at 3/4, 1 1/2, and 2 1/4. Then we are going to need 3 pieces. And these are for the inside panels for the bottom layer. And these are going to be at 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. And for the layers that go on top of those, these are going to be cut at 3 inches by 2 inches. And they will sit just on top of your layer. Then we are going to need for the top of the card, or the front of the card, we're going to need 1 piece that is 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. And then also on the front, we have 1 piece that is 4 1/4 by 2. A piece that is 3 1/2 by 2 1/2. And 1 final piece that is 4 by 1 3/4. So now we are going to do our folding and our creasing on all the score marks that we made. So the first piece is the base. We're just going to fold this in half and then use our bone folder to crease out that fold. And this will be for the base of the card. Now the layer on top of this will go on here, and this is the piece that was 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And then the other pieces that we did, I'm just going to put a design on the front, not really sure, but let's just lay it out like this for now. That's what we're going to do on the front of the card. Now for the center card and the mechanism, I'm going to fold it backwards to start because I really want this line to be creased. So I'm going to crease it, and then I'm going to turn it right side out, and I'm going to crease it again. Now open it up. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to squeeze it. And then I'm going to fold it towards those 2 other score lines so that you've got a lip on the inside. And then crease those out. So this is what we should have. We should have this crease in the middle. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to glue this center piece together. So I'm just going to refold this just in half to make sure that gets creased. And then I'll push the glue out with my bone folder again. And then just crease it again. Just make sure it's creased on all three sides. And that's what you should have. So this is going to easily sit in the card and still give you your border around the edges that we'd like to see. So to glue this, I'm just going to fold it in half. I'm going to put glue on one side. As I lay this down, I'm going to make sure it's lined up with the card. Now, you could use the tape, but I'm going to use glue because I want to make sure I have room to move this if it's not totally straight. So it looks like it's just a little bit off, so I'm just going to slide it. There we go. And then I'm just going to use my bone folder just to smooth out the glue. And then I'm going to glue the other side. And once we apply glue, we're just going to close that flap right down on top of it. And it should perfectly line up. Again, using your glue or your bone folder, spread out your glue. And that's the inside of our card. Now I'm just going to crease out the center of the whole card again, but you don't need to. So now we're going to work on the inside. So I have these little pieces that we had cut, and we're just going to fold them in half, crease them out, and we're going to do that on all three of the score marks that we made. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to lay these inside, and they're just going to sit against that ledge that we made and glue to the ledge and then the bottom. Okay, so those are our three pieces completed. So I'm going to put the first one, I'm going to put it probably about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. Let's just measure this and see how far we are. So I'm going to line it up so it's about 3/4 or 1/2 inch. Let's do 1/2 inch from the edge of the paper. So I'm just going to put glue on both sides. And the fold is going to be facing out. So I'm gluing the edges of the paper. I'm going to glue it so that it's about 1/2 inch in. And then I'm going to just go ahead and push down on that. And that will be our first one. Now I'm going to glue the second one. We're going to do the second one from the end again. We're not going to do the middle one yet, because I want to make sure that's in the middle. So I'm going to glue both sides again. So I'm going to line my ruler up so it's 1/2 inch away, and then I'm going to line that piece up. And again, we're just going to push down on that. Use my bone folder, push out the glue, make sure it's secure. Now we're going to flip the paper, and we're going to glue on the opposite side, going the opposite direction. And to line this up, I'm just going to put my ruler, and we're going to mark it so it's at the center point. I'm going to use that orange circle as my guide. Again, gluing both sides, making sure it's perfectly up against the edge. and then just push down and secure the glue. Perfect. And then if you want, you can go ahead and just rub out everything. Just make sure that that glue is really spread out. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the inside of the panels. We are going to use the 3 orange pieces and 3 black pieces that we had cut. So the larger black ones are going to go on the bottom, and you want to take the ledge, kind of lay it flat, and make sure that you're lined up with it, and just lay it along the edge of that line. So I'm just going to put glue on this top little pillar. So I'm just going to put glue on top of these little pillars. And again, we're just going to line these up along that edge, making sure it doesn't hang off the edge of the card. And then just push it down. That looks good. And then we're going to do the same for the next one. Make sure it's lined up, and then we'll push it down. So now we're going to turn the card, and we're going to do the last one. Now this doesn't matter if it overhangs a little bit, because it's never going to touch the other two, but you want to make sure it's even between the 2 other layers. Now you could make these a little bit smaller in width if you wanted. And you also want to make sure that when the card closes, they don't hang over the edge, so you can't make them too long. And just make sure it's lined up, and then we'll secure that down. And we're just pushing this down just to make sure it's really glued well. Okay, when you open it up, this is what we should have. Now if you flip the card over, you could have 2 going to the right and 1 to the left, or 2 to the left and 1 to the right. So the 3 orange panels that I had cut out had embellishments on the other side. It's actually embossed. But I think this would be cute if you had ghosts coming out of it or something else. But I wasn't sure if this card design was going to work. So this is just my first basic let's try it. I like the way it came out, so I'll probably make a couple more cards like this in the future. Now if you wanted to, you could have glued these down before you put the black pieces on, and it would make it easier. But I just wanted to do this step by step just to make sure that it would work. I just really like the way the embossed images look on this. Okay, now we're going to put our last one on here. And there you have it. So there are our 3 panels completed on the inside. Yep, I like the way this looks. So now we need to decorate the front of the card. So we're going to use that 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 piece of paper that we had done earlier. And we're just going to glue this down. Again, you could use tape on this, double-sided tape if you wanted. I'm just going to go ahead and glue it. I just like when the inside and the outside of the cards match on the paper. And then those 3 panels that we had done earlier, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to lay these down yet, but let's just glue this black one to the front. So it's going to hang over a little bit, so I'm just going to put glue all over the center, almost to the edge. And then I'm just going to lay this down so it hangs over evenly on both sides. Get it in the middle. And then this other panel we're going to put right on top of there. So that will sit right there, and this will be the centerpiece that goes on the card. Now you could put a sentiment on here. I didn't, because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to put on there. So I think I am going to put some double-sided tape on the top sentiment. So I'm just going to run it along from the orange, just to give it just a little bit of height. Because this card will lay flat. I don't think you need any extra postage for it, unless you start adding a lot of embellishments. And then we're just going to put that in the center. Perfect. Okay, so then I was thinking some ribbon, but then I decided on eyes. So I'm going to quickly glue these down. I'm just going to place these on some of the yellow circles that are on the paper, and I'm going to glue them on the inside, also just to complete the look. And that's our card. I hope you had a great time with me today. Please subscribe to my channel. I look forward to making these videos with you. I hope you have a great day. See you next time. Bye-bye.